Okay, well, I'll just start off and then Trev's going to take over because, boy, is he got some wonderful stuff to share. He's been reading a book that's just really growing him, changing him. And I even came home to flowers on the bench. So it was great. So we are Linda and Trevor Chatham, for those of you that don't know us, and some of you may be watching the recording. And we are Team FSI, and it's made up of all of us, but it's been a team of us, a community of us. And if you're wondering what it stands for, it's Freedom Seekers International. And we've been seeking freedom and abundance and health for many years, and helping many people do that in different ways, shapes and forms, but helping people really to live their best life. So I just wanted to share with you, started off, I said to Trev, I'll just share a little bit because I just had the most exciting week. Last week, I decided to fly up to Cairns to visit my beautiful friend Nikki. And Nikki was someone that caught the vision of the X39 and everything that Lifeway could offer. And so Nikki and her team have been doing a great job. And I said to Trev, I need to go up and just do some training and just help them a little, because they're doing great guns, but they're still getting their head around the systems. And so it just happened that it all worked. And so I jumped on a plane and I had 4 days. I had 4 days to cram as much as I could in there. And oh my gosh, did we cram we crammed like 4 weeks, 4 months into 4 days. It was wonderful. I just met the most amazing group of people that really just were ready. They were ready to embrace the technology, embrace the vision. They were hungry to learn. They were open. And then, of course, Nikki was putting me in front of people and, left, right and centre. I mean, basically, I was doing, several presentations every day, just some of them so casual that they were just sitting round a dining table. Like we would just have a chat, and then we'd end up at the dining table. I'd pull out my laptop, I'd pull up the PowerPoint, and it's my favourite way to share. It really is. And I said to Trev, I need to just share that, because it's not a formal presentation when you do it one-on-one like that. It actually just becomes a guided conversation. And it was wonderful because we could pause, we could skip, we could chat in between, but really to go through the PowerPoint slides, just sitting at the dining table, just with a couple and Nikki and whoever, it was just usually sometimes 2 people. We did do a big meeting where it was probably, about 25 people. But it was just the most incredible week because people love this technology. Now, I love this technology. I know all of you on this call tonight love this technology, but I think sometimes some people are still doubting whether they're going to find people that love it as much as what we do. And it was just, I'm 100% sure that if you go out and you're active and you go out with that enthusiasm and that belief, you will find your people as well. But what was amazing was, like, several times we just ended up at the dining table because Nikki's like, tell them all about the X39, and she's excited, I'm excited. So the energy was pretty high. So that's always a good thing. And then we would sit and just go through the PowerPoint, and really it was so simple. And it literally took 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go through the PowerPoint, just sitting there casually, in a conversation. And that included, at the end, we played a couple of testimonials. I said, would you like to watch this one? It goes for 5 minutes. And I did play, I think I played the dementia one, and I played the one with the 3-minute one with the little child that's had such amazing improvements. And truly, then we would just pull out the order form and people would just order. It was amazing. And so we had that scenario often. We had another scenario where it was just a one-on-one. I just said a little bit, And basically, it was like, yeah, why wouldn't I give that a go? You know, okay, what would you like to order? And I thought, how many times I was talking to a girlfriend today and she said, I know sometimes I'm just leaving it too long to order. I'm sort of thinking, oh, well, you know, a lot of them have to go through the website. They have to go through all the information. Now, some people do, but I tell you what, there's a lot of people that don't. They just want to order. They just want to get the patches. We still sent them the Nova Freedom website. We still sent them the information that they wanted, but they were ready to order. And so it was an absolutely incredible week. I mean, we absolutely smashed it, you know, with the whole team, just building the relationships. But more importantly, I was able to connect with the different people and show them how our systems works, how to get the Nova Freedom onto their phones, how to share it, how to save the folders in their laptop. And, you know, basically, and I know Trev's going to talk about it, that's Trev's little getting started coaching sheet. And I wish I'd had that because, boy, we were on the hop. And I mean, our mornings, sometimes we're starting at just about 6 o'clock in the morning and ending late at night. And I tell you what, when I came back on Saturday night, I was super excited, but I was tired. I had a good night's sleep and I bounced back the next morning. But, you know, it was just the most exciting week. Now, everywhere I went for those 4 days, I took my little bag. And in that little bag, I have the X39. I also have my sample envelopes. I used all these over the 4 days, various. I also have order forms because I'm expecting people to order, and they do. If you're prepared and you're expecting that. And so you know, and the thing was that what I did was training and teaching all those people that we were interacting with throughout those 4 days. And look, it's just the beginning. There'll be wonderful things come out of Cairns, I know. And just I really want to congratulate Nikki and the beautiful souls that she's surrounded with. She's a beautiful soul herself. You know, the people that organised, they had a collective night where, you know, there was 25 people. It was a beautiful night. And now, because they saw how easy it was to do that PowerPoint, even just sitting around at a table or at a bench, I gave them a copy of the PowerPoint and they were like, yep, we can do that. And, you know, that was just music to my ears because that's what it's all about. It's not a matter of someone whizzing in and being the superstar. I was not the superstar. My reason for being there was to train, teach and build relationship with new people. And it was just the most exciting week. And I said to Trev, I really wanted to share that, not to put, because I know lots of people doing a lot of fantastic things. And I really want to congratulate you all because I know, you know, I know Tim and Corinne are out there and they're having enormous success with, you know, doing it in the lounge room. Same thing. It's relational. And it's the energy and the passion and the belief that you have. And I promise you, you will attract the people to you. It will be like bees to a honeypot. And that's almost like what it felt like. We just started attracting all these like-minded people that have been studying frequency and healing. And it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this even exists. It was like, how do I order? I mean, how many would love to run into people like that? And there's so many people. They were from all walks of life. You know, they were, you know, we had a chemist, we had nutritionists, physios, movement specialists, personal trainers, people from all walks of life. And others that were retired and, you know, a beautiful, absolutely beautiful friend of Nikki's who does some house cleaning and that. And she's fired up about the business because it can get her out of this. And, you know, she was saying how much she loves the patch and her husband, you know, loved that she was getting such great results. And truly, we just need to get the word out, because this patch truly is changing lives. We saw miracles this week that 4 days. I patched a person on the Wednesday night at the meeting, saw him on the Friday night, and he was talking about the changes that he's felt and couldn't wait to, get his order. I had another one that we patched and, the pain went away. Now, we did use the ice wave with that one and a couple of times. So I do keep the ice wave in here as well, because that's no different to carrying a Panadol round or something. So with one of them, I did do the ice wave and the back pain just went. And I said, that's just blocking the pain. It's the X39 that's going to do the wound healing, the rapid wound healing and the wake up the stem cells. So truly, it really is about expectation. Trev's always talking about it, building belief and expectation. And if you're not out and about ready, you're not expecting. And if you're sitting down with somebody, be prepared. Maybe have your laptop, have the PowerPoint downloaded, and you don't need the internet for the PowerPoint. You can just bring it up and just press the arrow key. And it's just this nice guided conversation, and it just keeps you on track. It keeps you from rambling on. And it gives you the confidence. And I promise you, just step out if you haven't done that yet, grab a friend, download the PowerPoint, grab a friend and say, can I practice on you? You will be shocked if you haven't already used the PowerPoint. I never knew how to run a PowerPoint probably 12 months ago. And it's not hard. It's not hard, and it's such a great tool. And just again, having the websites on your phone. The Nova Freedom website was our biggest tool during the week. Well, it's my biggest tool anytime. Do you know how to save it onto your home screen of your phone? And do you know how to share it from there? And do the people that you've introduced, have they got it on their phone? Do they know how to get it on their phone? Do they know how to share it? And off it goes. So truly, congratulations, Nikki. If you're watching this, I know they're all working tonight, but all of you, it was a fabulous week. It was a pleasure to meet you, and that was the most exciting 4 days of my life, truly. Took me 24 hours to recover, but yeah, we'd definitely be back there and be visiting, with anybody, wherever you are. We really want to help you do that and empower you, because it's just your belief and your expectation and the passion that you have that is going to be what gets people really intrigued. Because I would say, yes, there's some people that want to dive right in, but most people don't need that much information. And they're ready to order sooner, like, do you have this beside your desk, beside your phone? When you're ringing people, are you expecting them to order? When you do your follow-ups, are you expecting them to order? And we personally found it much easier. Obviously, we were with people and that makes it possible, but we found it much easier just to fill the form out, and we would go back to our computer, sign them up and send them an email. And what I'd say, we'd say 3, 6 or premium, where you get massive discounts for bulk buying. Most people signed up with the advanced or the core, and we said, we'll do that for you, and we'll send you an email which will have your details, your login details, your username, how to log into your wholesale account, and also some helpful links. So on that email that we sent them, it's on our team website under email outlines, and it basically says, we have processed your order today. Excited for your journey, and just here to help you all along the way. Here's your username, here's your password, here's your ID number, here's how to log into your back office. Here is your referral link. So I would get their referral link, put it in the email. Here is our team website, and here is our team Facebook group, and here is our team newsletter. They've got everything in one email, and that just worked beautifully. But obviously then there are other people at a distance. If they're happy to give you the details, just give it to you, you fill it out and do the same thing, or send them a copy of this as a file, and they can fill it out, photograph it and send it back to you. And I know Steve Merritt does I think he said 95% of his enrollments he does by filling them out and doing them himself. And I like that too, because it's done right, it's done straight away, and it also gives us reason to get back to them, and the journey begins. So Trev, I'll hand back to you because there's lots to share tonight, and I know you've been doing such an amazing job. One of the things that I've been asking Trev for ages, can we change the website from with a black background to something, everyone knows I'm a real visual, to something white or light. So Trev's been working hard. He's going to share that. He's been doing that. And yeah, he just works so hard. So thank you, Trev, because with all these tools, the fun part's building the relationships. That's easy if you're using the tools. They leverage and do so much work for you. And now with this new little coaching sheet, I literally have to just tick off that with the new people that I have helped them in those areas, and then it gets back to them stepping into activity. And truly, it's exciting. So thanks, Trev. I'll hand it over.
Pleasure, sweetheart. Thanks so much for sharing. And I promise you, the girls were very, very excited with what was going on up there. It was fantastic. Got me.
How tired was I when I got back? I thought our caravan and car had been stolen.
Yeah, we won't even go there. That's just confusing the show. But anyway, guys, what I'm so excited about, and one of the things that's helped me a lot, is this book, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits, right? Just to give you a clue, sold over 15 million copies. I'd never heard of it before. I had a friend mention it to me. She'd had another friend mention it to her. And I went through it and had a look at some of the videos and things online, but then decided to just buy the book. And I'm so glad I did, right? It only took about a week to come from Amazon. But Atomic Habits, I mean, just to give you an idea here, and what I've done, I've only read about the first 50 odd pages in the last 7 days. I got it last Monday. But what I've been doing is going through it, highlights, underlines, right? I mean, this is a workbook. You hear me? This is not a novel. You hear me? I don't read, I got to go over things again and again and again anyway. But what I find is by highlighting it, and I'm actually reading it with more intention of actually taking in what it's saying, because I'm looking for the bits to highlight, number one. And when then I find one, I actually go back and highlight it. Well, then I get a chance to read that bit again. And then when I get to the end of the chapter, I can go back and read all the highlighted bits again. But just to give you a quick overview, I've just got it, and one of the things I love about it is the fact that he puts a summary at the end of each chapter as well. I mean, sure, I'm taking notes as I'm going through it, but he's also got a summary there. And if I take a couple of points out of this, summary from chapter 1, he says, an atomic habit is a little habit that is part of a larger system. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. I mean, who doesn't want remarkable results? But it gets back to our daily habits, what we do on a daily basis. And the way he's put it together here, this guy is brilliant. I mean, that's one of the reasons he sold 15 million copies. But what it says here, if you want better results, then forget about setting goals. I mean, you've got to have a goal to set your general direction, right? But after that, don't get too hung up on the goal setting. What he said is focus on your systems instead. It's like focus on what you're doing each day. Your little atomic habits are your systems. What are you doing? And then this line here, I love this line. He says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I'd never heard it put that way before, but he's spot on. My 39 years in this industry, I promise you, he is spot on. And see, I remember years ago, when I'd first hit this highest rank, got invited into a speech for this guy who was a, top triathlete. And I'm looking at how hard he used to train, and he's introduced me and saying that I was one of the most self-disciplined guys he'd ever seen in his life. And I'm standing backstage thinking, is he talking about me? Because I didn't see myself as being self-disciplined. what had happened, I'd reprogram my mind with the audio cassette tapes, right, with affirmations and so on. So I just went and did the steps that I needed to do because I knew that system, that process, developing those daily habits was going to get me to where I wanted to go. So it's just a habit. Only a couple of days that you need self-discipline, but it didn't take that long to develop the habit. You listen to all these audio and cassette tapes and so on, right? And that's just what happened. And then the little summary bit I've got here for you at the end of the second chapter, he says the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. Your identity. And see, when he said that, I'm thinking, okay, I remember way back, 1985, been working as a vet for 10 and a half years, partner in a yacht charter company, doing the farm consultancy work, computer programming. All of a sudden, I got introduced to networking. But what I figured is these guys have obviously got the score on the board. It's working for them. It's working to all these people on the tapes. They've already got a system that works. Well, I better go and do what they're doing. Well, back then, they were all running around with coats and ties. Now, after 10 and a half years in the bush, I didn't own a coat and a tie. Right, so I went down to Melbourne. I went to Fletcher Jones. Some of you here in Victoria might remember them, but that's where I used to buy my school uniform. These nice grey strides and a blazer and everything. So I figured I'm used to walking into Fletcher Jones, but I'm not used to walking into big menswear stores in Melbourne. So that was like short way out. But what I said to the guy, he came up to me and nice and said, you know, can I help you, sir? I said, certainly. I said, I need an image change. I said, I used to be a veterinarian. I'm now a marketing consultant. Right? But at that point, before even buying the coat and tie, mentally, because that's just what came out of my mouth, mentally I'd already made the change. My identity at that point had changed. I wasn't just a network. I wasn't just a veterinarian. I wasn't just running a yacht charter company. I wasn't just doing the computers, the farm consultancy. No. Now I'd become, in my mind, a networker, marketing consultant. Had to have a coat and tie. I need an image change. That was just on the outside. But when I read this yesterday, I'm thinking, obviously I'd already made the change inside for that to come out. And so what he talks about here, he goes ahead and he says every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. So every time you do something, it helps to become that. And he says, you know, write down your identity as to who you want to become. And so it's not just a matter of reading the books, it's a matter of then going through and doing the exercises. Right? And do it in detail. And so at the top here, I got my identity equals who am I? Right? Well, I'm a winner. I'm a leader. I'm a very successful networker. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a systems guy. I'm a romantic husband. That's how come we ended up with the flowers on the bench when Linda came home. Deliberate. Right? I'm an athlete and exerciser. I'm an adventurer. I'm a carnivore. I'm a bodybuilder. I want to build some more muscle. Right? I'm a serial strategist. I'm an investor. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm a friend. That's my identity. And it's just been fascinating going through and reading this book, right? Because he talks about, you know, the small 1% changes, 1% improvement. He said, if you've got those in a whole heap of different parts of what you're doing, that makes a huge difference over a period of time. And he talks about, you know, 1%. If you could get 1% better per day, you'd be 37 times better at the end of the 365 days. Just these small incremental improvements. And he goes on to say down here, becoming a better version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. It's coming from the inside out. I mean, I've taught for, 38 years at least, that it's a subconscious, it's a mind game. You've got to reprogram the subconscious, no doubt about that. But what has happened is, some of these things I'd forgotten and hadn't been putting into practice. I'd let the habits slip. The habits of reading every day. The habits of listening to a tape every day. The habits of always attending whatever functions we're on. He goes on to say the real reason habits matter is not because they can get you better results, although they can do that, but because they can change your beliefs about yourself. See, self-image and how we see ourselves is by far the most important thing. So I'm now a romantic husband. I've had times in the past where I haven't been that romantic. And then if we just go up here a little bit further, what he says up here, he said the ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. And I'm thinking, man, for decades I've said I am ambitiously lazy. I want to have it all, but I want to find the easiest way to do it. And when I got the systems in place, I want to be able to take the time out and everything just runs. But I understand I don't mind having to put the work in. And that's a good thing that he goes about here. He's got so many graphs and so on here, where he talks about what happens if you're getting better, 1% each day. It takes a while to see anything. 1% change, that's not a big change. You may not even notice it. But that's what happened. And see, so what's happened, as a result of doing all that, I'm only just starting it, but I've decided even first before I got it, I'm going to start promoting this book because I downloaded a chapter and thought it was just absolutely phenomenal. And so what has happened, we've had this novafreedom.net, and I'll just share my screen here with you for a sec. So if we go to here, right, what I've been doing is upgrading this. Right? So what happens now? People can go through and everything really you need to know about stem cells is actually on this first page. Right? And then you've got a 5-minute video here, which is the company one, and it's got Dr. Joseph Peck welded onto the back of it. And we know that works. And then we're a little bit down here on how to wear the patch. And so quite often in the email, what we're sending to people is we were sending them this, and then saying, if you want more information, click on these links, and then it'll take them to other parts of this website. Well, when I went through and had a look at this the other day, and I'm thinking, okay, we want to, improve this, make it better, and so on. And so what I've done now is I've put the testimonials up as the next page. And what I've done here is actually put all these visual ones up to start with. Number one, because they load straight away. Right? And you can see these ones. And these are pretty dramatic. Doesn't take long. Improved hair growth. And then we get into the videos. And these take a little while to load. But there's 28 different testimony of videos on here. And see, and then if we go to the bottom here for a minute, we can go down here, and then the next one is the inventors and the doctor. And so if they have a look at this page, they're going to see all of this, right? And then if they want to go and have a look at the clinical science, it's all here. Right? The science as to why the X39 patches are helping people is very simple. Copper peptide, which declines with age, has many health-promoting effects on many tissues. And the X39 patches increase the copper peptide concentrations in the blood of people who wear the patches. And nearly all of the changes observed by people and shared in the testimonials can be attributed to the body healing itself as a result of the regenerative and protective actions that have been attributed to GHKCU in the following 2 published research papers. So then on this website here, as it is, they got the summary of all their results, and people can just click here and go through and have a look at it live if they want to. Right, and this takes them straight through to the National Library of Health website. But it's all very quick and easy and simple. And they can go and read all this if they want to. See, if I just stop sharing here for a minute, the other thing you can do, can you see that? That's it on my phone. So if I'm there with somebody one-on-one, I could say stem cells are cells with the potential development of many different types of cells in the body. They can also become more stem cells. They serve as a repair system for the body. And I could show them that. And they can see what's going on. And then we go to the next bit. The problem is, where are we? The problem is that everybody suffers from decreasing levels of active stem cells in their body as they age. By 30%, only about 50% are still active. By 60, only about 10% are still active. And that is why older people don't heal as quickly as younger people. It's why a lot of athletic performance declines after age 30, recovery declines. Right? The solution? Well, the X39 patches are patented, but you could go through and you could read this whole thing, this first page, in under 5 minutes. It's a guided conversation. Everybody can open up their phone, and as Linda mentioned, it's easy enough to get it saved on your home screen. So you don't even have to go looking for it. It's like an app. See, on mine, if I go back to here, I got it saved here. There we go. I'll go back, I'll show it again. Okay, so I got a whole heap of them saved here, but all I got to do is click on this. How quick's that? I don't have to know how to run a PowerPoint. All I got to do is know how to scroll. Right? And then when I get down to the bottom here, next page, click. How quick's that? It's awesome. And then if they go and have a look at all the testimonies, if they do want to watch a testimony, they're going to pick one, no doubt, because they can just read the thumbnails, but they'll pick one that either they've got a problem with or they know somebody who's got a problem with. It's going to be relevant to them. But there's 28 testimonies on there. You hear me? So I was excited about that. And then if we go back, and I'll just share the screen again for a minute. Okay, you can see what happens here. We want to go manager. Right? That's the first thing. That's just 2 left, 2 right. Now, that is not that hard. Right? Sure, you've got to have done 300 PV total ever since you've been in LifeWave, and the people underneath you that you put in have got to have done 180 each. But that's it. 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Then to go director, well, you're going to have a couple of managers in each team, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. The managers are down there. So it's a matter of helping other people become managers. And to become a senior director, you're going to have 4 managers in depth, right? A couple of directors in depth and so on. But if we go back and look at it, it's just a matter of learning how to go manager, teaching others to go manager, teaching others to teach others to go manager, and there's no limits. And then if we have a look at this, just quickly, just so you understand, all as we're talking about here is people doing 2 lots of X39 each month, everybody introducing 4, right? So the first time they introduced them, the first month, if they would put them all in that month, they would not be a manager because the people they've introduced haven't done 180 points yet. They might have only done 150 themselves. But a month later, if everybody, orders again, their front line have now done over 300 points, 308. You've done 308. then you'd be a manager. And if everybody just puts 4 in and teaches them how to become managers, go through that process, right, then what's going to happen? And you're only 5 levels deep and the guys at the bottom aren't even managers, but it'd be over a couple of $100,000 US a year, just a hypothetical example. And you get a number of people out there going managers, they're going to put a whole heap more in than just the 4. But this is just a hypothetical example showing even if that is all that happened. Because now if we go to our website, we can have a look at it here, and this is just a screenshot taken from that Go Manager page. And, you know, and these are the steps we've got to do. I mean, it's not that hard. And see, one of the things that happened the other day was I was talking to Teresa, and this is all there on that website, right? And but I was talking to Teresa because one of the things that hit me last week, I'll just stop the share here for a minute. One of the things that hit me last week, listening to those people from South Africa, was the fact that they did not know one another. They'd never even met personally. You had 2 of them, you know, senior presidential directors, top level in the company, done it in under 2 years. The sponsor of the first lady, she didn't know him either. And it was a guy in the US who was coaching them. And he was coaching them on a regular basis. And that's when I thought, okay, well, we need to coach more people. You know, we've got people out there that are wanting to build the business. And I know having someone to talk to makes a big difference. And run a part, right? I'd already put together a folder where I had different people who were, you know, like this. And this is just how I do it. I find it easier on this than a spreadsheet, right? And keeping it online. Because I can just, you know, jot down notes here and add a bit here and draw things out and so on, right? And so, you know, this is like for Teresa. And I'd already had these notes here. And then she rang one day last week and said, you know, look, I'm just told my husband I'm fair dinkum about this. You know, we put a few people in already and now I'm serious. And I said, well, look, you know what, after listening to that call on Monday night, I said, would it be any use to you if we were to catch up on a regular basis? And she said, sure. Because one of the things that she'd said was, you know, now I've got so much I'm going to have to learn. That's what she said. And I said, not really. It's just Go Manager. Right? And so just so you understand where we're at here for a minute, I'll just go back, share the screen again for a minute. But if we go to this Go Manager page, this is it, right? You've got a couple of videos here to watch. Then it's got written out what all your goals are, because it's all explained here in the videos anyway, but then you've got it here in writing as well. Right? How to set the goals. You want to go on to director and so on, but then you've got these steps here. So, you know, write down a few business goals, come up with a names list, get your referral link, email outline set up, contact, work out how you're going to contact people, send them an email, follow them up, how to enroll them, because you need to know how to do that, how to change the binary placement preference. And the other one we put in here recently was this: create your business partners' referral links. Right, like Linda was mentioning before, I've got new people there, she'd create the referral link, send it out so that they can share it straight away. And then you're going to become a manager making machine. We're teaching people to teach people to teach. And seeing what happened is initially with Teresa last week, well, I printed off the other checklist that I had, but that was 2 pages. And I printed them off and put them in here in my folder, started ticking the things that she told me she'd done. But then I realised, no, I need to change this, right? Because there's a few more bits I want to add in here about having stuff on your phone. Right? And see, this is all pretty simple. Most people, by the time they get to this phase, they've already got their head around the science behind it. They've got a pretty good idea of how the patch works. And if not, they can go back here and go through it heaps of times. Right? x39freedom.net and so on, right? Watch some of the inspiring videos because that's what's going to help motivate them, give them a reason for doing it, and watch the business opportunity video. Then you're going to, write your goals on the bottom here, and you've got room to do that. What do you want to achieve with the business? You can write that down here. Get your referral link. Have you done that, right? Email set up. Write a prospect list of at least 60 or 50 odd names. Contact the prospects. Send the information. Follow up, and so on. And so, you just need to know these. And the first one, the only one you got to know is manager. But later on, you're going to want to know these ones as well. And, why bother going manager? Well, that's how you're going to help these other people, how you're going to get to here, right? Use and promote these, right? How to place an order, how to upgrade your account, how to set up the auto ship, and understand the maintenance pack option. There's some people like that, right? And we've got links to all of these on our website, right? Learn the compensation plan. Well, that's really pretty easy these days. Doesn't take long at all. And so what happened is we can go through this and then, set some business goals and all that. That's just from the other sheet. That's just putting some dates in there, a broad inspirational vision of where you want to go. But then you want to focus on the system, getting your systems in place. And so anyway, what we'll do now is I'm just going to bring Teresa up. Hello?
She's dropped off, Trev, but she'll probably jump back on. It's just dropped off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, we had another chat today. But what's so exciting was, we've already had 3 little catch-up sessions since we started this, right? And one of the sessions we jumped on a Zoom because she'd been able to go through and tick on quite a few things. But she was a bit hung up on the follow-up. She'd started on the list of names, but didn't have 50 names written down, but she had a few written down. But anyway, the good news is what she's realising is that there's not that much on this sheet. Right? Today, going through it, I got some notes here, but she's now got 68 names written down. Right? She's been watching a heap of different videos. We went through and she was going to have a look at, Steve Merritt's contacting thing, because one of the things I mentioned, well, I've actually got it printed off here as exactly as we've got it on the page in there, but I've printed it off and I've got it stuck up here on my desk. So if I'm sitting here at my desk talking to someone, I can still use that as a guide for my guided conversation, right? So I'm not missing any of the points, because that's a little bit different. And I've been, contacting people, more haphazardly, if you like. But I've just found that this works really well. And, if you do that, it works. And so I've got that there, and she was going to do that and get it all sorted. But it is exciting, guys, right? That's the point I'm trying to get across. That there's no doubt this thing is going to explode. But one of the things we got to do is we got to reprogram this. And, I've been talking to Tony Zagami also about, this book that I'm reading, Atomic Habits. And he sent me this video this morning. And it was just in a Facebook Messenger type thing, but I managed to get it recorded today because I want to use it. Because this guy here, Dr. James Doty, right, he's a top neurosurgeon, and he's talking here about how to manifest anything you want and unlock the unlimited power of your mind. And what he's talking about here is unlocking the unlimited power of your subconscious mind or your non-conscious mind. Right? Not the one we're thinking with all the time, the one that's just running in the background and running all those habits we've got. Right? And for me, this is just a perfect fit for, to go with this Atomic Habits book. And there's a lot of things he's talking about here I've done in the past and started doing again. But just let's have a quick listen to this. This is only a few minutes.
If you have an intention, you take a pencil, you write it down, you're actually doing something physical, tactile, then you read it silently, then you read it aloud, then you visualize that, and you do that over and over and over again. What that will do is then embed that into your subconscious. And then these different cognitive brain networks get activated.
Now, can we unpack that just a minute?
Sure.
Because everyone that listens to this loves to make sure that they just got the instructions from you, Dr. Doty, because I'm like hanging on every word. And so there were a couple steps to that, because you had the physical pencil, you had the act of writing, you had this moment where, if you're watching on YouTube, you saw it, but if you're listening, let me describe it. He sat back in his chair, he put his hands kind of in prayer at his chest, closed his eyes, and he started talking about repeating the thought. Is that the chain of events that you do to encode it in your mind?
Yes, absolutely.
So will you walk us through it one more time?
Yes. So again, what you want to do is to use all of your sensory organs as much as possible to embed that intention. So by writing it down, by reading it aloud, by reading it silently, by visualizing it, that creates the process where this gets embedded into your subconscious. And what happens is, once you get this embedded, it activates different parts of your brain. And without getting too technical, I'll just mention 4 of them. One is something called the default mode network. This is what happens when your mind wanders or you're daydreaming. And it's self-referential because it's internally focused, but it's where you create the narrative of who you are or what you want.
So if you have negative self-talk, if you ruminate, if you are like, I'm never good enough, nothing works out for me, things like that don't happen to a person like me, I can never get it right. That is the default mode network.
Absolutely. And that gets really activated and results in rumination for some people.
Can I ask you another question? Because one of the things that you said at the very, very beginning is you painted this gorgeous picture of the ability to leverage the remarkable power of your brain to help you get what you truly desire in life, to help you live in heart mode. And you said it's just about believing it. And part of the reason why we have trouble believing it is because of the default mode network and all of these stories you've repeated over and over and over again. Is that fair to say?
No, that's exactly correct.
And we can reprogram, or we can lay down a new track?
Oh, absolutely. And it's available 24/7, and it doesn't matter what's happened to you before. You know, so many people get fixated, well, I don't deserve this because of. We all deserve it. So once this gets embedded and you create the narrative of who you want to be or how you see yourself, what you're doing is you're creating salience. Okay?
What's that word mean?
It means making it important. Okay? Once something is important, this activates what we call our task positive network. And the task positive network has 3 parts. It has the salience network, it has the attention network, and then it has the executive control network. And once something is salient, what you're basically saying is, this deserves my attention. And by doing it in a very specific way, then that becomes important to you. That gets embedded into your subconscious as something to pay attention to. Once that is defined as something important to you, then that activates your attention network, so that then you cognitively focus your attention on whatever that intention is.
Okay.
Once those are activated, and I use the analogy in the book, it's as if you have a file cabinet and you put this file into the file cabinet that says important stuff. And once that is there, then the attention network is activated, which is, as an example, a bloodhound that says, okay, now there's something there. I need to track this down and figure out what's going on here. Then you activate the bloodhound, and then that gets released. And then once that attention is focused, then it starts looking around through all the possibilities in your environment. And as soon as it identifies one, then your executive control network is activated, which in some ways is the thing that chases down what is in your subconscious. This is how it works. There is no magic here. This is fundamentally basic neuroscience, and it's something that we all have the ability to master by just doing these techniques whereby you are able to embed your intention, you do it over and over. And it's not as if one and done. And what I mean by that is some people wake up, and this is like a New Year's resolution. I'm going to do this January 1st. And then January 1st comes and you already fail the first day. You have to not have excessive expectations at first. What I mean by that is these are based on habit. What happens with habit? You start small. You don't sit there and say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in the next month. You say, I'm going to try to modify my diet where I'm not drinking sodas. That's the first little one. And each of these little wins strengthens you to actually then do the big thing ultimately. So you don't start by running a marathon on day one. You start by getting up out of bed and walking around the block.
So that just fits in perfectly with these atomic habits, little small increases, small improvements, and marginal improvements. And so just quickly flicking through this, they're making a lot of money. We're growing like crazy here in Australia. Going to keep going. They've got some incentives running at the moment. We can go to Bali, all that's on our website. You got to introduce people, and so that's where it is there now. It's on the How To Hub on that new look website. Qualifications now possible. And that covers for Croatia as well as Mexico. And yeah, so it's all here. But, you know, we're so lucky to be under Stephen, Gene and Merritt's This Is It team, right? They're now doing 50% of LifeWave's volume. And one of the things that is so magical is the fact that he's promoting these functions that he's doing and putting them out, and we've got access to what happened there. And the reason I'm so excited about it is when I first got involved with this industry way back in 1985, we were under the umbrella of, you know, the guy who is now rated as the top networker ever, apart from our good Lord. And, you know, so many of us are using what we would call the Jaeger system and the Jaeger training, and so many other people who, you know, their training's based on that. Well, the good thing with everything that Steve and Gina are doing is based 100% on that training. And one of the videos that I've edited a little bit and put it up so that it just goes straight into it, and it just starts like this, because I wanted it as what I would call a follow-up video. And we've now got this on our videos to share page, and I'm just going to play the first little bit of this. But it's absolutely fantastic, and I've sent that to a few people that, you know, have just signed up and got involved. And this is one of the ones I want them to listen to. But this is a whole panel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you got a whole heap of people there, all different backgrounds, all successful, and sharing why they're interested and why they're actually building a LifeWave business. So this is on our website. It's on the Inspiring Videos page, but it's also on the Videos to Share page under a little section I've got there now called Follow-Up Videos.
We've got another amazing group of people here. They're of different professions, and they're going to speak into part of what it is that they see in this opportunity, how we bring this together. And I just want, before we kick this off, I want to tell each of them thank you so much. So my first question is going to be to Mina, and she's an attorney, all right? So the question we're going to speak about is, as an attorney, you've navigated many complex legal challenges and witnessed the demands of your profession. What do you see in the opportunity that offers a promising alternative?
Oh my goodness, wow. So much. Time freedom, financial freedom, the fact that we actually share hope with people, the fact that we're impacting people all over the world. And you know what? We have the most amazing system. I think we heard that a lot today from so many people. We leverage the system. We leverage team. You know, as an attorney, it's all depends upon me, my performance alone. Here we have team. And so it depends on our team's performance. And together, everyone is achieving more. And the thing is that the system is duplicatable. We do not need to reinvent anything. We just plug and play and get good at it and help our team to get good at it and see great results. So we have everything that we need to go out there and make this big, and we don't need to tire ourselves out alone.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so now obviously what you do is you take very seriously your profession. I mean, again, you took the time to go study, to pass the bar, to practice. You take it seriously. Why do you believe everyone in here should take this opportunity so seriously?
There is nothing like this. Absolutely nothing. We have the best system, the best product, the best team, the #1 momentum company. What else are we waiting for? We need to go out and tell the world.
Thank you. Isn't that awesome? She's right. So again, I want to say this. So a lot of times, I think within the industry of networking, and I think I'm probably guilty of this, and some of the people in the front row may be too. We talk about our job as our jump out of bed, and we talk about being just over broke and all those kind of things, and we're cynical about that. Don't curse the job that puts food on your table, okay? What you want to do, be thankful for that, and as my friend Candace will tell you, it's a great referral source for building this business, okay? So you're looking to build both until a time that one becomes not necessary. But don't change that right away. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Jane. Now, Dr. Jane and I have been friends for a little while. We've been having the opportunity to build a lot.
Yeah, so that's just fantastic, guys. And every one of those speakers is absolutely awesome. But as I say, we got it there, so it's all been topped and tailed. Just go straight into it. We haven't, got too much hype or no hype beforehand, and it works really well. So anyway, just our weekly schedule, Monday night, business training session. Wednesday, 11 o'clock, Melbourne, Sydney time. Kelly and Linda do a product only one. And then on a Thursday night, we do an introduction to the X39 and the brand partnership opportunity as well. All right, so our websites are the novafreedom.info and the x39freedom.net. We've got our Facebook page there, and we've got a newsletter. So you want to connect with all those. They're the websites. We've already had a look at them both tonight. But LifeWave is definitely on track to become the biggest LMM company in the next 15 years. I got no doubt about that. And what this means is there'll be more people making more money than has ever been seen in any other company, right? Because it's paid out such a huge percentage. 60% they pay out. That's like, anyway, twice as much as some other companies I've been involved with. And it's in massive momentum, right? The global patent still got 15 years remaining. So we're not even going to have any competition until at least 2040. 2040. Every other company, and there's been 3 that I've been involved with, that were in momentum, but what happened, they had great products to start with, but then other companies, both within the networking industry and also just down the main street, came up with similar products with competition. We got no competition for at least 15 years. And we've certainly got a very effective free training and educational systems available, no doubt about that. And we're just so blessed to be able to plug in under Steve and Gina's umbrella and use all this material of theirs, right? Sure, we can still put our own flavour on it. But what's going to happen, this is going to be huge, either with you and I or without us, right? And when I'm looking at this myself, I'm thinking it's going to happen whether I do anything or not. There's no doubt about that. And, in Australia is just going to explode whether I do anything or not. That's how it is. And so, I look at it this way and, I know that if I don't contact my friends, somebody else, chances are they will. It's just going to be a matter of time because this is so dramatic. So you have so many people that see all these magic changes just with the X39 anyway. And that's what they're focused on. But it's just going to continue and continue. So, we're here. We're lucky enough to be in the country that's got the, the best growth of all the Asia Pacific ones. But that's because they changed the system. It's a classic case. You change the system, you change the results. That's what happened. The first game I was in, it was actually going backwards when I got in as a whole. But I was lucky enough to get in with a small group of people that were under this Dexter Jaeger umbrella, and we just absolutely exploded it. I mean, it was unbelievable. We're doing over $250 million. This is back in 1993 here in Australia. right? You put that into a calculator online, put it in there for inflation at the moment, and we're doing about the same turnover LifeWave was doing as a whole last year. It's unbelievable the opportunity we've got in our hands. But anyway, guys, I'm excited, and I'll just stop the share. Any final words, sweetheart?
Yeah, what struck me was it's so easy to do, but it's also so easy not to do it. And we've got everything right at our fingertips. We've got technology that just leverages. We've got websites. We've got paper books. We've got audio books and Kindles, and we've got trainings that are virtual with conferences that we don't even have to travel to. And yet, the whole package, it's so easy to do, and it's so easy not to do. And that's only a decision that each and every person makes for themselves. But it's so worth it. It's so exciting when you see those people's faces light up when they've got no pain or their health is just changing. When you see them light up when they've got money in there coming in. I mean, it is so worth it. So, yeah, we need to definitely be improving and changing ourselves. Like Trev and I have made the commitment personally that we want to go where we've never been before.
Yep.
We're not just happy to go back. Like Trev said, he wants, when we listened to that tape of him 20 years, 30 years ago, it was like, he's a different person now. Well, he was a different person back then too. And, but it's like, if you want to go somewhere where you've never been, you're probably going to have to do something that you've never done before, but it is the becoming of that person. And that's, even the snippets Trev's been sharing on that book, and I've just ordered a copy for myself on Amazon. It's really easy to get. I've got a Kindle and a paper copy coming, and it's like $20, that book. I'll put it up on the Facebook group with a link if anyone wants to get it. But what really hit me was, this is a time of year a lot of people are reflecting on the year, and some are excited where they're at and some are not. And then we start setting new goals, don't we? It's just what we do at the end of a year and the beginning of another. But like Trev was saying, we should be looking at who we want to become and what daily habits do we want to change and create. I love the one that he's becoming a romantic husband, because that's not something that comes naturally for Trev. I know he loves and adores me, but it's hard for him to be romantic. But you've got Google and AI now and Chat GP, like there's lots of ideas, Trev. But do you know what I mean? Like it's those daily habits. So a lot of people, and me included, we make those big goals at the beginning of a new year and at the end of a new year. And then sometimes we're 12 months later and we're no closer. So it's like looking at the action steps, looking at the system and looking systems that you're using and your daily habits. And I think it's an exciting journey. So thanks, Trev. And we'll get the recording up and I'll put the link out on the Facebook group for that amazing book. Yeah. So we'll be studying that for the next months.
Yeah, see, one of the things, if you listen to those stories, there's so many of the people there that have been super successful in this, and they've been in networking for decades, but have never been successful before.
Yes.
This one here, the product does so much, but you've still got to open your mouth. Right? You've still got to do something. Don't get me wrong, it's not just going to happen. But that's one of the things that I love about it, is the fact that, we've just got everything come together here. Everything come together. And I got no doubt it's going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen before. And yeah, and it's just going to happen. Anyway, that's awesome. So anybody want to...
Is the chat open, or anyone put a hand up if they want to say something before we finish up? Great to see you. We'll get the recording out. It'll be on all the platforms, on our website, on our Facebook, and also out in the newsletter. So if you're not on our newsletter, absolutely go to our website under the How To Hub. There's a join Trev and Linda's newsletter. We send the recordings out the following day as well as post them up on the website as well. So fantastic information, a lot to absorb. Have a great week. If no one's got any questions, anyone got any questions? Welcome, David Cossar.
Yeah, welcome, Davey.
Have
Good
you?
to see you, mate. Oh, 1 minute. Well, sweetie, you're muted. I've just unmuted everybody else or allowed them to. You're going to have to unmute again.
I was going to say, Davey, we've saved the best for last. So,
There you go.
yeah.
I only saw the back half, so I'll have to watch the recording again. We've been busy getting half off before the rain.
Yeah, no, we'll send it out to you. But it's good to see you. Good to have you on board. I'm glad you've caught.
Yeah.
Had
Looking forward to a change in my life.
That's
That's good, mate. That's good.
Very good.